Assalamu alaikum. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, this is a presentation, the case against FARRAKHAN, the son of perdition, mostly in his own words. So we will make sure that this information is available so no one can say they weren't told. He has surrounded himself with demons. As it says, he's Peter, who filled his church with demons. He claims he's Peter. Peter would be in charge of the church. He's in charge. And Jesus did call him Satan. Said, "Get behind me, Satan." That means he was in front of him. He was Aaron, and he gets behind him. So we're going to talk about these things. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to show you some videos and different things of him saying, what he says, telling his lies in his own words. We know that the demons, it's Photoshop, they're not here. We don't care. We're not trying to convince you of your demon. We're not trying to convince you of anything. We want you to stay, as it says in the Injil, in chapter 22, those who are holy, let them remain holy still. Those who are filthy, let them remain filthy still. We're not here to change you. There's nothing in the Injil talking about changing anybody. We're not changing you. We want you to stay just like you are. Because now we're approaching the judgment. In many respects, we are in the judgment. So we want you to stay just like you are. We're not trying to convince you, not trying to save you. Show me where Jesus was trying to save the demons. He did not. He wanted to cast them out, cast them into hell, like their swine daddies. You have it all. You have a mistake if you think somebody's trying to convince you, trying to get you to follow them, trying to get you to support them. No, no, no. Read it carefully. So let's go into it and see, and there's some, you read for yourself for those who are demons and scriptees and time makers. This is going to be a problem for you. So, go back to eating your popcorn, whatever you're doing, because you're not going to like any of this. And you hate me even more. And fine, hate me with the most vehement hate that you could come up with. I don't care. I wouldn't accept you as a follower even if I wanted followers. What I want demons tagging along with me for? We're trying to get rid of you. And you time makers, you scriptees. See, time makers are just poor lost believers. They just hold on to the past. Not they don't mean well, they just can't let go of the past. See, Allah will lift you up, but you cling to the earth. See, that talk about them in respect of time. See, He will bring them into the future, but they cling to the past. He will bring them into the future. That's what angels bring you to the future. It's not taking you back in the past. It's bringing you to the future, trying to break your grip on the past. See, the Sunnis got this grip on the past. The Hindus got a 35-year-old grip on the past. Sunnis got a 1,400-year grip on the past. The Christians got a 2,000-year grip on the past. Jews got a 4,000-year grip on the past. Hold on to that past. See. But those who are turned to mathematics, they're not holding on to the past, they're holding on to the now, moving into the future. That's why you're kicking everybody's ass, because you back in the past, right? You lost back there. Then you have no impact on the future. You have no impact on the present. That's why you're getting your ass kicked, because you're back in the past. You lost. You're worse than blind. You're worse than dead. You'd be better off if you were dead, because you walked around blind in the past. There's nothing back there. It doesn't exist anymore. But that's where you lost at. Out in Netherlands someplace. See? And all the so-called religions, they're all lost in the past. They have no impact on the present except bullshit. See, they can't produce anything. Not any one of these religions, not one of them can produce anything. That shows, right? Because if religion is reality, that's your mind. So if your mind is about cartoons, then it's valueless, because that's what it is. Your mind is about cartoons, stuff in the past, something that doesn't exist anymore. So you have no impact on the present. How can you have impact on the present if your mind's lost in the past? And only mathematics lives forever, no matter what. All those so-called religions, they didn't exist 50,000 years ago, not one of them. Not one of the so-called religions existed 50,000 years ago, but mathematics did. Mathematics always been here, always will be here. That's what Islam is, mathematics, mathematics Islam. All these religions, none of them existed 50,000 years ago. Even the cavemen tell you history goes back millions of years, so what was they doing before that? See, they made up stuff. They made up realities. See? And none of them can produce anything, can produce nothing. They can't produce a cure for a disease. They can't produce anything economically, agriculture. They can't produce anything, nothing, because that shows they're impotent. See, they're valueless. And when they get in trouble, everything where they run to. They run to the scientists and the mathematicians. They run to the doctor. They don't go to the rich witch doctor. They go to the real doctor. See? They don't go to a magician. They go to a mathematician. That tells you everything you need to know right there. See? When as soon as you want to go someplace, they don't jump on a magic carpet. They jump on a 747. You see? Because magic carpet's not getting them anywhere. And when they fight back to the atom. See, they got that confused. He's supposed to be God's vicegerent, but he makes Mishra shed blood. So what God is he the vicegerent of? If he's made to make Mishra shed blood, that means that's what God intended him to do. Whoever made him. If Adam was made to make Mishra shed blood, that means that's what his nature. He was here, and that was him put here to do. If that was if God created you to make Mishra shed blood, that means that's what he intends you to do. He put you here for that purpose. So what God made him. So here say he's God's vicegerent. They get stuff all mixed up. You're gonna see this in a minute. All mixed up. He's God's vicegerent. Okay, that means he's God's presence on earth. But he's making Mishra shed blood. So what God are you talking about then? You know, Yaqub, you talking about, you see, it's right there in front of your face. You can't be talking about Allah, the all wise and true and living. Right? And he gonna make something and that's gonna represent him. Someone make Mishra shed blood? No, that's somebody the devil made, Yaqub made, to represent him. You'll see Lion Farrakhan. We're gonna see if we're going here. They twist that around. So as soon as you can't get that right. Because they can't even identify Adam. They don't even look when they say Adam's the one's kicking her ass. They don't know who the jinn are. They don't even know their own so-called religion, don't even know it. They're the jinn that they hate so much. Let's move on, brothers and sisters, because it's going to be quasi-lengthy. So let's move on into it. Okay, hold on, brothers and sisters. Here we go. Okay, Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds. Now, he claims his last name is not Grounds anymore, or was it? It was. They went out there and changed it, manipulated on the internet. I don't know how they did it, Google, whatever. But they play games now because his mother was named Sarah Mae Grounds. That was her maiden name. And she was not married, right, to his father, right? So she was not married to him. So, and he supposed he raped her, and she tried to abort him because she was raped by this person, which was the devil. See, and so technically, and she wasn't even married when he was born. Technically, that his last name would have been her maiden name, which was Grounds, Sarah Mae Grounds. Now, when you go out there and look, they play games now. They have, oh, there's another Survey Grounds that's born in Texas, and she's Caucasian, and so they try to mix you up. See, then they say, well, his last name really wasn't Grounds, it was something else, right? But they don't deny Louis Eugene. So they can play games all they want, but like I said, it doesn't matter because the people that understand the Angel, they know who it is. Those demons and everything, well, they can play games. Well, it wasn't Grounds, right? So, well, whatever. Louis Eugene Grounds of the NOI backwards, exactly what he's done. That's Farrakhan. Let's move on. The case against Farrakhan. So we start off like that. See him making nice with his girlfriend, or maybe he's the girlfriend. Disembowel. I mean, what is a disemboweled person going to do? The bridge to the female heaven is gone. So what are you going to do? I mean, what you going to do, right? So like they're really getting it on pretty good. So nowadays anything goes. Let's move on. Case against Farrakhan.
I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us.
Hold on.
When this ship was named Jesus, this is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we're on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our father in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land, turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting so. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their home 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that. We want an equal entity.
Okay, brothers and sisters, did you pay attention to that? Did you listen carefully? That's Elijah Muhammad's own words. So we fools to want to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. So we'll be condemned by ancestors for wanting to stay here in the land of our imprisonment. So he called those who want to stay here fools, condemned by our own ancestors. So who is saying that we're going to stay here? We're not going anywhere. That's Mr. Farrakhan. So he's calling Mr. Farrakhan a liar and a fool. This is Elijah Muhammad talking. His own words. You can go out there on YouTube and hear the whole thing if you like. I'm just showing this part of it. There's a lot more. See? And near the end, he talks about mixing, race mixing. It should be prohibited. See? But yet, Mr. Farrakhan, he wants to bring them into the NOI. So how you want to tell me? Now this is from what the Muslims believe. Right? This is not just I'm just talking off the cuff. This is he's explaining the back part of Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and he's saying this is what Muslims believe. So that's been on the paper from all the way up to he departed. So he didn't change it one iota. So he's telling you what they believe. That's not what Farrakhan believes. He believes we should stay here. We're going to be masters one day in the land of our imprisonment. See, we should bring them into the NOI. We can save them. See, so who are you going to believe? This is his own words. This is Elijah Muhammad's words, and you know what Farrakhan stands for. We're not going anywhere, according to him. Elijah Muhammad said we'd be fools to think that way. They want that. He says we're fools because here we are, we're loving and want to stay here with the people that has been destroyed, that's continued to destroy us. How do you feel? So just listen to it again at your own leisure.
Minister Farrakhan, Dr. Raheem runs up a theory that children will be recognized by the content of their clothes, not the color of the skin. Do you see a day when whites will be allowed to join the black Muslims? Yes. Yes. And I must say this, some of my own brothers can be shocked at this, but you asked me a question, and I have to answer the truth. If you look at the message of Jesus, it started first very narrow among the lost sheep. And Jesus was told, go ye not in the way of the Samaritans, in the way of the Gentiles, but to the lost sheep. And then at a certain point he said, go ye into all the world, to every nation, kindred, and tongue. If you would look at the message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his prayer was directed to black people because we were in the worst condition. But not only are we lost, the whole human family is lost, and therefore, has to be bought, and we have to be bought. And I close that one by saying, in Christ, there is no Greek, no Jew, no bond, no free, no male, no female. This means that we all are going to have to grow out of nationalism, sexism, racism, materialism in order to claim Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior.
Yep, Mr. Preacher, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Thank you for reminding us that. Will you please send me a cross? You see, this is a clown. This is his own words. This is Photoshop there. It's out there online. He wants to bring devils into the NOI. Devils into the NOI. Now that's Elijah Muhammad's teachings. Read Supreme Wisdom. We're going to talk about that Supreme Wisdom in a minute. See, because for us, we have Supreme Wisdom. That means that supreme means supreme, but they're going to tell you that it didn't mean supreme. It means something else. See, so if he was to do what he claims, right, that he's supposed to do, his mission, you have to throw out the supreme wisdom, all the script, all of the lessons. See, because you're gonna have whites saying, "Oh, we are the skunk of the planet Earth. Yaku's grafted devils." Of course not. Their children got said either. So you have to throw all that stuff out. See, we're the original man. They're gonna try to tell you we're not that anymore. So we see these are own words. That alone right there should have you running for the hills if you were a true follower of Elijah Muhammad. Because the lessons tell you very clearly they're not our brothers. There's no redemption for them. We're not here to bring them back in. And lesson specifically says that. We're not going to waste time grafting them back in. That's what he's talking about, grafting back in. Because he's the son of the devil. He's a demon. That's what demon is. Demon. Half devil, half man. That's what a demon is. The fruit of slave masters' rape for 400 years. So the seed, the male carries the seed. So you are what your father is. And we're going to see that in a minute also. So he's a devil. In black skin, a tar baby. Deceiving the people. That alone right there. This alone right here would tell you that anybody that saw this and they recognize it's valid, they would get a different distance between east and west of this guy, or this clown. So the only ones that would be with him are those like him, demons. See, read the story of the demon-possessed man in the book of Mark. It's pretty clear read. It still has a veil over it. All the books are sealed, but it's a thin veil. If you look hard enough, you can see it. Let's move on to the next one. Devil's in the eye and no eye.
One day, I was sitting at the messenger's table. A man so supremely wise that it is only now in his absence that I'm beginning to see how magnificently wise the man was, but I can't see his face to tell him how great he was, but all I can do now is make up for lost time by getting on the case and doing my job. I'm saying this, brother. That man, one day, we were sitting at the table. I want you to listen to this.
Listen.
Though the messenger praised me a lot, said good things about me, which in truth I doubted. That doubt is saying that you're suspicious that the messenger had some ulterior motive for saying what he said. He only had good in him for me, for you, for all of us that were near him, and far from him, that man didn't know nothing for black people but good.
Exactly.
I want you to hear me now. Please hear me. This day, I had spoken at the graduation. And when we came back to the house, a lot of the sisters at the table were telling the messenger how I spoke at the graduation at the university. And they were really praising me. And I really felt that they were laying it on pretty thick, and it disturbed me. And one sister, I never will forget it, she says, "Dear Apostle, the minister, everywhere we go, we hear, these good words about the minister and all." And the messenger listened, his jaws tightened, and then he looked and he said, "Yes, he's getting the vein, so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him."
Listen.
I'm telling you what he said. I died at the table. I mean, it was like he had taken a spot and drove it right through my heart. I couldn't understand why he said it.
Exactly what he did.
I didn't know why he would say something like that to me. I was faithful to him in my own way, I thought. I was obedient to him in my own way, I thought. Why would he say that to me?
Because you're a hypocrite.
He knew tomorrow.
He knew you was going to be a hypocrite.
Yesterday.
He knew you was Aaron.
Yesterday and don't know what tomorrow is, but that man saw tomorrow. He was the most perfect guy that ever could come to a people, brother and sister.
He saw Aaron coming.
Man, because we so hateful of our black selves that we didn't believe that God would dare take a black man and not only make him a messenger, but more than a messenger, deposit in the man himself and make a God out of him for you and me. Now listen, brother, I'm not praying here. That man, Elijah Muhammad, is the most profound individual you will ever meet. I don't give a doggone if you live to be a million. And those of us that walk with him in faithlessness,
like you,
walk with him in doubt and in suspicion of his divinity,
like
know
you,
it better now than we ever knew it while he was among us. We know it now. Look, and I say this with deep humility, man, it pains me to open myself up and see a hypocrite laying inside.
yeah, yeah.
But how else can a man be healed?
No, you weren't healed.
Unless he's opened up to the light and the thing that is in him that is not pleasing to God be removed.
Man's nature cannot change. Can't change a man's nature.
Here's the messenger looking at me. And because Malcolm told me that the messenger was jealous, and members of the messenger's family had dropped it out that the messenger was jealous, I began to entertain the thought because I couldn't see the future. Now listen, I fought it off, but it was there. Hear this now, beloved. One day in New York, 70,000 people came out to hear the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the largest gathering of black people, really, I think, in the history of our sojourn in America, to listen to a black man teach wisdom. And this ain't no play. I was so overjoyed, I went to the messenger, and I said to him, the apostle, there were 70,000 people. And back in, again, 3 months later, we did it again, and 40,000 came out on a Sunday afternoon to hear a lecture in Randall's Island. And you know, when I was so exultant, you may use the word cocky, you may use the word vain, self-centered, whatever you want to say. When God gives you success, you better learn how to handle it, or that thing will destroy you. And I didn't know how to handle what God was bringing to me. They're being very frank and honest. And this is not negative, but it's so good to understand how merciful God is. He brings you up and show you the power that can come to you, but he knows you can't handle it. He'll drop you right back down and then bring you up in humility so that whatever he gives you, you'll be able to handle it well. Now look, beloved, when I was telling the messenger about this 70,000 and this 40,000, you know what he said to me? He got real sad and he said, you know, brother, the time is coming when you may go to the temple and there may not be one believer there but yourself. Could be. I said, we got 7,000 Muslims in New York. And he had 70,000 people out there reaching for his teaching. How could I go to the temple and there be no believer there? I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know at all, but he knew it all. Now let me say this and conclude this whole thing. Brothers and sisters, when they announced that the messenger was dead, and his son took the leadership, we all bowed to his son.
No,
I think it was
I
a
didn't.
great show of respect for him that no war, no fighting broke out over who gonna be the leader, this, that, and the other. It was one of the most smooth transitions of any black organization in the history of America. But we, in submitting to him, we did not know what he had in his heart.
That's a lie. A
We
lie.
should have had some indication.
Exactly.
Since historically, he had always been in rebellion against his father.
So you should have known that.
But when we saw him standing with his father,
He wasn't standing with father.
He had overcome his difficulty with his daddy.
A lie.
And nothing was more pleasing to me than to see that son return to his father to help carry on his father's work.
A lie.
And even though the father, in truth, now, had told the people to listen to FARRAKHAN, yes, he did. I didn't feel qualified to carry on the work. And when Wallace stood up, I said, okay, I will back him. And in sincerity, I backed him.
Yes, you
But look at
did.
the pause now. The man started teaching against the 40 years work of his father. And the more he started against his father, some of us went crazy. I mean, some of the Muslims actually went into insane asylums. Some of them, yes, it's true. Some of the Muslims just couldn't handle it. Some Muslims walked out of that beautiful house on Stony Island, which rightfully belongs to you. See, it don't belong to hypocrites. It belongs to you. And one day it'll be again in your hands if it be the will of Allah. Look, brothers and sisters. The believer walked out. Some stayed there horrified and really petrified to hear a son say things like this against his own father, his own benefactor.
While you were standing
Some of
there,
the Muslims believed it, took the flag down,
you was one of them.
took our uniforms off,
Yeah, you was one of them.
sisters took off their robes. And to think now that this man who taught us for all these years, that he tricked us, there's too much to bear. So some of the brothers went back in the street, picked up their reaper, and was selling reaper. Some of us went and picked up drugs, harder drugs, sold them. Some of us became pimps. Some of us went back and became worse than we were before we met Elijah Muhammad. It's true. Some of the sisters went back to sweethearting with devils. Some of them had never gone with the devil, but decided I'll try it out. Some of the brothers had never laid with a white woman, decided I'll try it out. I mean, we went totally crazy, brother.
While you were standing by.
There's just a handful that held on to the messenger.
Yep.
And they held on by a thread.
Well, not me.
Just a thread.
That's your
But look
interpretation.
at what happened. Just look at the comma. You're talking about a comma now. And what the comma means a pause. Now a pause is here. Wallace had done his work, and he failed to destroy his father's name. He failed to destroy his father's
Don't put all on him. You was right there with him.
And 4 years ago, this very month, I was awakened from my hypocrisy, from my falling backward.
So you say,
And I stood up and said, I am going to, by Allah's help, refill the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Not my work, not your work, his work.
42 years later, still haven't done it.
That pause, I went all over the world during that pause. And everywhere I went, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching showed me that that man was correct. More correct than I ever believed he was. He was not only correct, but he was right and exact. There's a difference between just being correct and being right and exact. That means not one jot or tittle of his message should be altered in any way. because it's perfect just like he gave it to us. All we need to do is grow in understanding.
Yeah. He's right about you being a hypocrite. That's for sure.
But hey, it's in the theory. You know what I mean? If you don't think it's well, it's not my fault. I'm sure the best I think to make it clear to you. And I think 90% of people in here already know from what you see in the nation that this man, Wallace, was not correct. That's all. You don't have to be no scholar, you know it now. And it's not from Farrakhan's mouth. It is from the man's own mouth and the man's own feet that he has destroyed himself. But look what he's done for us. Look at what he did for us. Let's look on the positive side of a negative experience. What did he do for me? Let me tell you what he did for me. The first thing he did, in manifesting my own doubts, in manifesting my own weakness, he helped me to see that I wasn't what I thought I was. And that helped me. Because that means now I got to get my own personal act together. Now some of us labor under false pretense. You look in the mirror and you say, I'm a sharp nigga. I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, I'm this. But it's a hell of a thing to be stripped down and see yourself just like you are. A jive nigga.
That's what you are.
You didn't hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
You didn't hear me?
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna say it again.
You a
I
jive
said
nigga.
something to be stripped down. I ain't talking about some of you.
Talking about yourself.
Shucks. Ain't one in here. No. No. Not one that is worth a damn in the sight of God. It is His mercy that we should never despair of. But the scripture said there's none righteous.
Talking about devils.
Not
Liar.
one.
Talking about devils. That's never Farrakhan taught. He said we all are righteous.
That can come to God, and the messenger of God said we were so holy and pure.
Liar.
Just said there's none righteous. No, not one.
Talking about the devils. That's the lessons.
And ain't none of us that can come to God.
No, because you're a demon.
The messenger of God said we were so holy and pure.
That's right, because you're a demon. You're a devil.
And I'm number one, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All the way down, boy.
You are number one,
See,
Legion.
I know that I'm not worthy to stand in front of you.
Then why are you standing?
Listen to me, gentlemen. I am not worthy.
You're right.
It ain't no 20 years of work that I did that justifies me being here. It is the mercy of Allah, His grace. That I
No,
have
this is Satan's work.
You understand? For all practical purposes, I blew it. Okay? Now look, it's all right from y'all. Okay, why you open yourself up and talk like this about yourself after we was looking at you with such a high vision? I can't help that. I gotta tell you the truth, not allow you to walk around here with a sick eye. I'm your brother. I'm not worthy of worship. I'm not worthy of honor. I'm just here to do a duty.
And why they call you honorable,
You understand?
Elijah? Honorable Farrakhan.
Allah and His messenger are the ones that are worthy of the honor, worthy of the praise. And if there's any praise and honor to be given, you give it to God and you give it to Muhammad, and let us walk like brothers and do our work that is put upon us in the prom. You had enough time now to pause. You had enough time now to reflect. Now inhale. Take a deep breath of inspiration and look back over the 40 years of Elijah Muhammad's life and see now whether we can build this nation. We can build this nation overnight.
42 years. You ain't built any damn thing yet.
You don't think we can build it overnight? Do you think the white man is an obstacle? Do you think the government of America is an obstacle? There ain't no obstacle at all. If you had faith the grain of a mustard seed, you could say to the mountain called white man, be removed. And the whole cause is to wake you up with the faith that you did not have while Elijah Muhammad was present, so you could take his message now with the faith that he had in the God that he taught us of, and then march on and build a nation of righteous men and women. It's so easy to be done. It's just, do you have the faith that you can do it? Now I'm going to tie this up. No, it's all right. It's all right. Carry away the spirit. But 40 years, it'll come, right? 40 years, it'll come. A pause. Now, the next, see how these lines here? With the white chalk for you. See these lines here? These lines don't represent Elijah's work. These lines coming after the brother represent your and my work under his guidance and spirit. The man is so powerful. Elijah Muhammad I'm talking about. He takes the hardest job ever given to a human being in history. He lays the foundation, then God takes him out of the way. And being absent, he guides his students to fulfill the most difficult mission in the history of the world.
And they failed.
To prove what? That there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Now, what did Muhammad see? He saw Farrakhan stumble and fall. I did exactly what he said I would do. The world that came to know Muhammad and know his representative saw me tumble right down, and after I bore witness to the messenger, I started bearing witness to a son who was an errant, disobedient rebel of his father. Now, a man can't serve two masters. So the world saw the brother turn hypocrite.
Yep.
So when the world saw the brother stand back up again, the world said, well, let me watch and see.
The demon, not the brother.
The Muslim followers and the messenger said, well, he's back. I mean, I could hear him grunting all over the country. If the nigga had stood up when the messenger left, we wouldn't have had to suffer all of this.
Exactly.
Yes, but the prophecy had to be fulfilled.
No, bullshit. No, we're not discerning about prophecy. Say, blame it.
And I had to go to the bottom to become the humble person that I must become in order that no honor, praise, or power that the God and the messenger would bring to me would faze me, because I know where it rightly belongs. You can't fake this thing now.
Blame it on prophecy.
Stay humble. You got to be that. Otherwise, the power that comes to you will destroy you. Did you hear me? God intended to make you a great people, but you got to be able to handle greatness. And let me tell you, brother and sister, everybody can't handle it. Everyone can't handle being rich. Everyone can't handle being powerful. Everyone cannot handle being famous. And you can take a few of us that get fame, a few of us that get fortune, a few of us that get in little positions of power, and watch how we act. We act terrible. So God got to bring us all the way back down to make us humble enough to recognize that it is God and not us. So we've been through it, Muslims, and I think we should be grateful to Almighty God, Allah, that all we lost is $80 million. Now listen, that ain't nothing. That's chump change, right?
This clown is pathetic. You hear the last part? He's fulfilling prophecy. In other words, his hypocrisy is determined by prophecy. So it wasn't his fault. It was prophecy. He was fulfilling prophecy, which is a cop-out. See, that's the last refuge of liars. Oh, I was just fulfilling prophecy. No, that's my fate. So in other words, you have no control over your fate, your life. He's a liar. He wasn't fulfilling prophecy. Prophecy, prophecy is not something that determines our lives. It's the other way around. Our lives is what determine prophecy. If you see an eclipse, if you're wise enough to figure out how the planets move and the sun and moon stars move, then you can predict an eclipse. So the eclipse happened because you predicted it, or did your prediction, or did your prediction come because you saw the eclipse? Same thing like weather. You see, you can figure out it's going to rain or storm. So since you report that it's going to rain or storm, is your report that made it rain or storm, or did it rain, or did your report on the fact that you saw that it was going to rain or storm? So that's what refuge of liars. He says a lot of things. See, he doesn't take blame for anything. See, he puts all on Wallace, but he was sitting right there. We can see in the next one. He was sitting right there with Wallace. He was Wallace's main minister. Well, Wallace, he says that, oh, Wallace, nobody knew what Wallace was going to do in his heart. But then he turns right before his breath is over, in the same breath, well, we should have known because of history. No, we should know even more before that because Wallace was officially exiled from the Nation of Islam at the time the messenger departed. He was officially out. The only reason why he let him come in, right, to come around the family, because they said his father had passed. His father was sick. See, and they thought he was going to pass. So that's why he was allowed to come in, because it was a family emergency. That's the only way he allowed him to come around the family. But he was officially exiled by Elijah Muhammad for teaching the same garbage that Farrakhan is talking about. He was so he was standing with his father. No, he was not. He was officially out. That's a fact. Anybody who was around then knows that's a fact. I was in Chicago at the time. I was not. That's where I was. That's where I was based at, in Chicago, Temple number 2. So this is not hearsay. Wallace was officially out. So he had no rights whatsoever to have any control or take any control of the Nation of Islam. And they knew exactly what he was going to do because Wallace was never shy about it. He was very clear. He's going to Chicago Public Defender and different things like that, and state his father was a liar, Farrar was a liar, all this stuff he was doing all the time. So everybody knew exactly what Wallace was going to do. There was no doubt. So he's trying to put doubt in, like he didn't know. He knew because he was on board with it. And he said Wallace knows all this stuff. He was saying, he was right there saying it too. One of the statements he made was, anybody who believed 100% of Elijah Muhammad taught was a fool. That's come out of his mouth. See? So if he's saying all these people were going crazy and all that kind of stuff, well, first of all, he stated that Wallace speaking against his father. So if he was standing for his father, he should have put that rabid dog down as soon as he started speaking against his father. But he didn't. He barked right with them. They was barking against Elijah Muhammad all together. Now understand this. When Elijah Muhammad departed, the highest ranking figure in the Nation of Islam was 2 people. Primarily Farrakhan, who was the national spokesman, and Supreme Captain, Brother Raheem Sharif. See? But Brother Raheem Sharif had control of the FOI. See? But Farrakhan had control of the nation's business and everything else. See? So he just gave it over to Wallace. Now, when they talk about all these things fell apart, see, if you read, I just played you part of this because it's lengthy. But he's talking about how the nation fell and the bank went away and the stores went away. No, they didn't go away. Wallace got rid of them. I was right there. He got rid of all of the bank, stores, everything. Muhammad Speak newspaper, he got rid of all of it. He said, we don't need this stuff because the white people have this stuff and we're part of America. We don't need this stuff. He got rid of all of it. Now, what I say about Farrakhan being the top individual in charge of the nation's business, because the messenger Elijah Muhammad put everything in the nation's name. It wasn't his name. Tried to be like he was ripping off the people, tricking the people. No, all the nation's business was in the nation's name. So that means that belonged to all the believers. So FARRAKHAN, what they call him in the law, he has standing, because if anyone wanted, he had say so over what happens to that stuff. See, so Wallace couldn't do anything unless Farrakhan let him do it. That's the bottom line. See, because he had standing. But once he gave control over to Wallace, then Wallace had control. You see, so then Wallace went to the courts because he couldn't liquidate all that property and everything, right? Unless and take it for itself, because it belonged to the believers. So if he liquidated, he had to give that money to the believers. He didn't want to do that. They wanted it for itself. So they went to court and sued to get all that property, nation, liquidate all that stuff, and get all of the money, right, back to him and his family, his brothers and sisters. See? And his thing was, what his statement was, this doesn't belong to the believers. This belongs to my father. He built all this stuff. Now, Farrakhan could have challenged that. He's the only one that could challenge it. Maybe Raheem Street, I'm not sure of him. I know, because I don't think he could challenge it, but Farrakhan could, because he had standing. He could win challenge, but he didn't. See, that's how they got him. That's one of the reasons they got Malcolm out the way, because they could never pull this on Malcolm. See, they can pull on this coward. So he didn't challenge it, so he got all of it. He didn't challenge it. He stood with Wallace. His bad mouth the messenger, just like Wallace was doing. See? And he thought once they looked at everything, he was going to get a piece of the pie. They gave him zip, nothing. They threw him back to the curb like a two-bit whore. He said it. He says it. People that go to his meeting and everything tell you, his private meeting, tell you, he says it. He was broke because they didn't give him anything. That's why he ran back to Massa. He left the sheep to nothing. He ran back to Massa, right, with his tail between his legs. And that's a long story. I'm not going into it. But the point is, he didn't get no revelation to come back. A brother went out there and convinced him to come back, and he had no choice. He had no money. He said he had no money. But he was promised, he was guaranteed financial support by these lawyers, black lawyers in Chicago. They weren't Muslim, but they were going to give him financial support. And all those disenchanted followers of Wallace was going to give him security. That's when he came back. He had no choice. And the other thing he doesn't say, all the time he's saying, remember, he said people was going crazy and people lost their jobs and people went back to prison and all that kind of stuff. What he's not saying is, all this happened while he was sitting there, while Wallace doing this. So he didn't say anything. He saw people's lives. He's sick, so he's acknowledging that this happened to people. He didn't say a damn thing. He's supposed to be anointed, save people's lives. These people, all this happened to these people. He didn't say a damn thing, right? People lost their lives. People went crazy. People went back to prison and everything else. He didn't say a damn thing, all while he was sitting right next to the fire, right next to Wallace with that BS. So thousands of people's lives was ruined. Families were ruined. Right? Businesses were ruined. Livelihoods were ruined. All the pioneers that had spent all their life building the Nation of Islam, they lost everything they had. A lot of them went destitute, homeless. And he sat there and watched all this happening. And he didn't step up, do a damn thing, because a coward is no good. And you're going to sit behind a coward like that and think that he's going to stand for you when times get rough? When the wolves already came to the door and you saw what happened to him. When the wolves showed up, what did he do? He opened the door, let the wolves in, threw you to the wolves, and he ran here behind Master's skirt. Oh, that's a fact. Now call me a liar. And he hasn't changed. Show me one time that he's ever stood up and put his own personal self at risk for the believers. Show me one instance he ever done it. Never. He never will. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now, the next we're going to talk about here is that we're going to see him and Wallace together. We're going to see him and Wallace together. And you're going to notice, right, he's not going to dispute anything Wallace is saying. He's going to try to talk some clever talk and everything, right? But they're trying to convince you that we was too stupid to accept Orthodox Islam directly. So Freud had to trick us with this false, this baby Islam that Elijah Muhammad come up with. To trick us, like we do children, feed us, nurse us until we're strong enough to accept Orthodox Islam. That's what they're trying to convince you of. And any reader or lesser tell you that's not the truth. That's a lie. And he's telling you also he don't believe Farad, right? So, well, Farad ain't the one that originated heaven and earth. No, we did. See, that's that slick language. Oh, we know he was born at a certain time. How could he possibly be the one that originated heaven and earth? It didn't say he originated heaven and earth. He never said he did. The original man did, us. That's how he plays little games. The only fool are demons, idiots, crypties, and time makers. See? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. That boy is sick.
The starting point is not the finish. Let me say that I thank Allah so much for the man that came to try to put us on the road to Islam. The starting point is not the finishing point. The starting point is letting us know that we have a journey. Master Farad Muhammad told us to accept our own and to be ourselves. We know that he, a human being born February 26, 1877, is not the originator of the heavens and the earth, but the good that we gained from his 3 years and 4 months.
So he's a liar, right? Farad's a liar, right?
Was that he raised from among us a man that would get us started in a process that even though the Islamic world would have liked to have helped us, and many Muslims came to try to help us.
That's a lie.
They didn't have the right methodology and approach for the condition that we were in. Farad Muhammad developed a methodology, strange as it seems,
yeah, tricks,
unorthodox as it seems,
yeah, tricks,
even poisonous.
Ooh, poisonous.
As it may seem, yet it was a prescription that started bringing balance to the system, and that we would evolve from a nationalistic, black thinking people into the universal message of Islam. But
Orthodox Islam.
Farad Muhammad, the idea that he was the incarnation of God on earth, you know, I differed with my father. Yes. And I didn't want to differ with him. Yes. In fact, I never differed with him directly.
Liar.
He was told that someone heard me saying something different. So he called me to question me about it. And I told him that I could more readily believe that he was God than I could believe that his teacher was God.
So, in other words, Elijah Muhammad is a liar.
Was a white man, and he said white people were devils.
Nah, see, that's a lie
And
right there.
Also, I told him,
Caucasian white man.
I understand something from your teacher that makes me believe that he said those things, but he also left enough evidence of his real intent, and that was to bring us to the correct idea of God in Islam.
Ooh.
For example, my mother, when I was leaving the home one day, after my father had insisted that I accept God the way he presented God, or I was going to be cut off from all communication. He told me he knew we weren't me.
So we had the incorrect. Elijah Muhammad gave us the incorrect knowledge of God. Yet they call it supreme wisdom. So Farad gave us the incorrect knowledge of Farad, the incorrect knowledge of Allah. And Elijah Muhammad taught for 40-some years the incorrect knowledge of Allah. See these clowns? And Farrakhan said right there, he's not saying anything different, he's not going against. In fact, he's backing them up.
He know that I wouldn't be able to see my mother. He said, you won't be able to talk to your mother, I'll see her. So I didn't change. And as I was leaving, my mother was hurt. And it hurt me to see her hurting like that. She said, she walked me to the door. which she didn't do. That was normal for her. And my father excused you. And she stood on the porch at the door and she said, Wallace, why don't you go back there and accept it? Just say you believe. I said, Mama, tell me what Mr. Farrar told you all. I said, did he tell you he was God? And she looked like her face went blank and looked like she didn't know what to say. And a few seconds she said, no, he did not. So in fact, he told us to not even call him prophet. He said that was too big a title for him. Then I said to my mother, how can...
Another lie. It says right in the lesson, he called himself Prophet Farad Muhammad. Right in the lessons. These people just lie. Right in the lessons. Read the lessons. See, he's just a liar. That's why he's dead. See, Allah killed this clown and disemboweled the other clown. See, that's the Mosaic punishment. For rebellious son, the penalty is death. For hypocrite, the punishment is disembowelment. It's so clear. And that's exactly what has happened.
You ask your son now to accept the man as God, who told you prophet was too big a title for him. I see. So I think that is the consistent view that if Master Farrakhan's contribution has been to him. So I was sincere. That's that's what I'm saying. I mean, any Orthodox Muslim out in the 1.2 billion will readily accept that. But when there is any suggestion of something related to being God on earth, then there is difficulty. You would agree with it. Well, let me put it to another way.
Here we go. Yeah, another way. Come on with it.
Man, Adam, was to be Allah's vicegerent, yes, on earth, Khalifa. What does that mean? That means that Adam was to act on the will of God in the place.
Always remember, someone Adam wanted to make mischief, shed blood. See, them, you got to put all this together. So he's going to stand for God, the one to make mischief, shed blood. He's standing for God. He's going to be God's representative on earth. That's Yaqub he's talking about. He's talking about Allah. It's obvious. I mean, just listen to him. See, he know what he might not even realize what the message talk is. When you boil it down, Farrakhan is an idiot. He's borderline retarded. But see, he talks nice, but he's full of shit.
Of God by God's command, but not to be worshipped as a God, but to show the human being what the human being could become if the human being submitted to God. He ordered the angels to bow down to this man that he made and fashioned from, in one part of the Quran, black mud into shape, and from another part, from dust.
See, he gets that all wrong too. He's a liar. See, that's not Adam he's talking about. Adam was not made from black mud, fashioned in shape. We are the black mud that was already fashioned in shape. You can't make something out of mud that's already fashioned in shape. We are the black mud that was fashioned in shape. Adam came from our sperm. That's why it says later on, right? You don't mention that it came from a blood clot, right? See, that means he came from sperm. We are the black mud fashioned in shape. They try to make you think that Adam was black. They got everything all messed up, and that's not Elijah Muhammad's teaching. That's Wallace's teachings. He's with Wallace 100%. Like I said, he was standing there while all these brothers and sisters were suffering, going crazy, going destitute, losing everything they had, everything else. He didn't raise his voice. He said, anything. He said, then watch all of that because he thought he was going to get a piece of the pie. So you going to trust someone like that? He saw his people suffering. He said it. He saw them suffering, going crazy, going back, backward. And he knew, at that time he knew He said he knew Wallace was bad mouth master, and he didn't do anything. He's still sitting with him right there. Wallace is doing it right there. He's sitting right there with him. So if he knows he's like that, why did he do anything? Why didn't he stand up? See, he's trying to talk this clever talk. The reason why I talk like this because he's still trying to be in Wallace's good graces because he's still trying to get a piece of that money that Wallace is in the court trying to get. That's why he's talking like that. Because he's a hypocrite, a liar, and a coward.
And he ordered the angels to bow down to Adam. All of this is subject to interpretation. And it is interpretation that gives Muslims these points that create division. And I think now that we in the Nation of Islam have accepted Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and we recognize when we were taught to pray, every morning our prayer was, surely I have turned myself to thee, O Allah, to him who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am
mystery God, mystery God.
The polytheists. That was our prayer. Yes. At some point, we would come into a greater understanding of that. And I would say that we are like children who don't really know God, but know him through a mom and a dad. But as we mature, we see our mother and our father in perspective. And as we mature, we see Master Farrakhan Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Prophet Muhammad and all the prophets in perspective.
Can you listen to that bullshit? Listen to him. See, he was right there, Wallace, while the nation was being destroyed by Wallace. Sitting right by his side, right there, trying to talk his little slick talk. See, so they were supposed to bring us, Elijah Muhammad's intent, Farrakhan's intent was to bring us into Orthodox Islam. We were too stupid, you understand, to accept Orthodox Islam. So they had to trick us into it. And believe me, if Elijah Muhammad had came and taught Orthodox Islam, it'd been much easier to teach that than what he actually taught. You see? So that's bullshit. But that's what you get from these clowns. Lies. Nothing but lies. See? Because they're fraud. Let me just show this for a second. They're number frauds, liars. That's why he's dead. Farrakhan's disemboweled. Nothing they said was the truth. You got to pay attention to what they're saying. They're saying that the goal, Elijah Muhammad's goal, was to bring us into Orthodox Islam. When Elijah Muhammad wouldn't even permit them to even come to our temples. See? So we had to be tricked because we were too stupid to see Orthodox Islam. See? And we're too stupid, you understand, to believe in this mystery God. So they had to give us an idol to worship, Farad, see, and give us some real basic, dumbed down version of Islam. Because we, you know, until we became strong enough, we could handle Orthodox Islam. Whew. Brothers and sisters.
Now, brethren, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering together to him, we ask you, not to be soon shaken in mind or troubled, either by spirit or by word or by letter, as if from us, as though the day of Christ had come. Let no one deceive you by any means, For that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Do you not remember that when I was still with you I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work, only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
The son of perdition. See? Claiming he's God, sitting in the temple, right? Claiming, that's what it says. He says it's a mosque, they say synagogue, they say church. He be sitting Elijah's seat in the temple, declaring himself as God. I mean, everything is there, brothers and sisters. So, like I said, Elijah Muhammad said, the truth be made so clear, even a fool will not err. The truth is clear. See? So those that don't accept it, the few that don't accept it, they condemn themselves because they out themselves as being the demons that they are, or scriptees, or time makers. So is that photoshopped? Okay, brothers and sisters, let's move on. Okay, I think I have enough information there, and we can get much more. But that's enough truth for anyone who's interested in the truth. 2021 is therein. See, that's all he's in. He only had 42 years. That 42 years is up now. That son of perdition, he had 42 years to reign. See, said the woman would be in the wilderness for 42 years also. See, so that time is up. 2020 was just warming up. See, 2021 is it. This is the year. The whole idea was that plague. The whole idea was the plague is to make them, was to force us to leave one way or the other. You gotta understand that. See, either get rid of us or let us go. That's their choice. And they've chosen to get rid of us instead. Remember, Pharaoh was schizoid on the subject. Let him go, then he attacked him. He was going both ways. First, let him go. Remember the plague came? Remember, what was the plague that made him leave? What was the plague that made him finally release the children of Israel? The plague, the Passover plague, the plague that would kill the firstborn, that's the elderly. Right? That's who this COVID-19 is killing. It will kill the elderly, right? Firstborn, but it will pass over the seed of Abraham, which it is. That you got a big old sign that you can't miss. It's virtually uninfected. The only continent on the planet that's virtually unimpacted by this plague is Africa. We got the same DNA them basically, and it's not affecting them. It's not affecting us over here. The ones that's killing over here are the demons because they're really devils in black skin. They're tar babies. Those ones killing. It's not killing original people unless they extravagant with their health. In other words, they ain't take care of themselves. But if you take care, it's not killing you. They ain't gonna tell you that. FARRAKHAN ain't gonna tell you that because he's a demon That's why he's walking around in a mask. He's scared to death. He's going to throw the plate. Yeah, he's wearing a mask. He's scared to death too. I mean, he ain't going to break the virus. But I give, that's the only thing I agree with him on, because this whole thing is they're playing not just get rid of some blacks, they're planning to get rid of all blacks. See? So that's affecting too. So we have a common interest on that score. See? Because he's afraid of this plague, this vaccine. And if you see Abraham, regardless of whether the vaccine is for you or against you, you don't need to take it. I'm not taking it. I'm 72 years old. I'll be 72 in a couple of weeks. I don't wear a mask. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking any shots. I never took a flu shot. So 2020 is the worst year I've ever seen in my 70s, nearly 72 years. And most people haven't seen anything like this. And now they tell you this new strain, right? It mutated. It's worse. It's more contagious than the other one. They say, well, yeah, but it's not as deadly, right? I mean, no, that's not the way they use, not the way they phrase it. They say, well, it's not more deadly. So it makes you think, oh yeah, well, just don't have to worry about that one because, you know, it's not more deadly, but it spread faster. That means it's more deadly, right? If a person shoots you with a bullet, right? Or they got a machine gun, spray bullets, right? The machine gun is more deadly because it's still, a bullet will kill you, but now it's killing more people, spread out more. See, the way they phrase it, and they don't know, they have no idea whether this so-called vaccine they have is going to work against this new strain. Well, we don't think. That don't mean it doesn't, because it mutated, and it may not. Because that's why the reason why you have to take the common cold. They don't even try to give a cure for that. They don't give you a vaccine or anything for it because it mutates so fast. So every time you get a cold, it's not the same one you got the last time. Because if you get the one you got the last time, you're not getting cold because your body is immune to the one you just had. So it mutates A to B to C to D. So if you get A, you're not getting A twice. That's when you got B or C or D or whatever. See, it's going to keep changing all the time. So they gave up. They're not trying to find a vaccine for that at all. Because they find one for B, then they got to try to find one. And it mutates faster than flu does. See, flu mutates about like once a year, so they can give you a flu shot every year. Because the flu that you got last year, if you got it last year, right, the flu of 2020 will not be the one of 2021. That's why your body's not immune to it, so they have to give you make up a new shot for that. So those change about once a year, so they can give a flu shot less every year. But they can't do a cold, so it mutates too fast. And this may be the same thing happening to this coronavirus. So the next thing you might hear is, oh, well, because think of it. They give you this vaccine now. Now, if this thing is mutated, that means now you got the vaccine for that version. But this new version is moving fast and more contagious. You're not vaccinated for that one. So you won't get the old one if that vaccine works. You won't get the old one, but the new one will take you out. But the purpose, the purpose of plague was to get us out here. And that's what's going to happen. Because at some point in time, very clearly, they're going to recognize, see, what is already obvious, that this plague, right, is coming from Farad Muhammad. He said, I'm going to send this plague, right? And he says, when they realize that, and that is what the purpose is, and that is really not, and it's truly not affecting original people, see Abraham here, and it's bringing them down, and they can't do nothing about it. They can't come to any cure, they can't find any defense against it, right? Then they're going to say, okay, we got to let them go, we got to get rid of them. One or two. Their preference is to get rid of us. I'm not going to that here, right? Because I got a whole video just talking about that, and I'm going to talk more about it. But they would rather just get rid of us. See? And that has its implications. But that's what that was that plague. That's what it's designed to do. So that's what you're going to see the effect of that in 2021. 21, right? It's going to be an attack on us, and we're leaving. All that's going to happen this year, because that went from 1 year They had to play. And that's the re-exit. That's the person that played. And they know that's the person that played because they know this situation. Black folks are not dying in Africa. They're not doing any social distancing. They're not doing any masks, right? And they're more condensed than any place else. And they're poor, right? And they're doing it. They're doing their thing, and it's hardly impacting them at all. But we supposed to be dropping like flies if somebody's lying. They know. See, the people that follow Judaism, that's the basic religion, Exodus. They knew exactly what this meant. They can calculate 1619 to 2019, 20 years. They can calculate anybody except Farrakhan. He seems he can't get the calculation right, and it's right in the lessons. 1619 to 2019, 20 years. 2020 will be the plague that will kill the firstborn. It came in exactly on time. 2020 will kill the firstborn. That's the elderly. That's exactly what's killing. It was underlying conditions. That's what, and will pass over us, the true seed of Abraham. See? So when they saw this thing happening, when it happened, and they saw his hospital beds filled up with white folks, see, it wasn't filled up with original people. So they had to make up stuff. They knew exactly what that meant. So they had to try to, oh no, black folks are really dying. They could never come with numbers, came percentages. That means if 10 black folks got it and 9 died, oh, 90%. But only 10 ever got it out of millions. See? That was their big lie. And they still continue. They don't talk about it like that so much anymore. But now they're using that excuse to say, we got it because they more, they more, they're more subject to get this, right? That we need to vaccinate them first. Really? Anyway, brothers and sisters, this was a case against Farrakhan. You read it. So, it's not for you demons and you scriptees and you time makers, right? It's not going to benefit you. It's going to benefit those who still can't see the right hand from the left hand. See, because a lot of people with Farrakhan that never was around the message around. And when he's feeding them, he's telling them that for the message is a lie. That's why I present this so you can look at it for yourself. Compare it. See, in his own words and the messenger's words. See, because the whole person Abraham covenant was to spend 40 years here, and the reward is a contract, a sacrifice and reward. The reward for our sacrifice is returned back to our land. That's what I taught. That's the purpose for our coming here, right? So if you're gonna work all week and you don't get paid, what's the point of working? And that's what Farrakhan said. We're not getting paid. See, we don't get the promised land that was promised to us for our sacrifice. See, but we take some six states, some over here. We take some reparations. See, okay, brothers. Reparations. That's a subject. Okay, that's enough, brothers and sisters. We'll talk about more. But I just want to present this so you can look at it and hopefully you benefit from it. Assalamu alaikum.